Okay, I have been involved in high-speed chases on the freeway by people that wanted to get even for something that they'd read. Now, this is totally irresponsible, I think, and if it ever occurs that something bad happens because of something like this, I mean, I pity those who perpetrated the rumor.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Jump TV. This is episode 2 of season 2, and I'm here with my buddy Jerry. And we are going to be starting to do movie reviews on here. We did a few in season 1, but now we're really getting into it. And this is the first episode of Mel Gibson March Madness. We're going to be doing 4 Mel Gibson movies. So what's our first one that we just did?
First one we did was The Road Warrior, also known as Mad Max 2 overseas. They called it this here in America for whatever reason.
And we, as of the filming of this episode, we just finished it. Like, we just finished watching it.
We just got done watching it.
And, like, just now, so it's fresh in our brains. What a roller coaster of a movie, first of all. Like, it says on the back, it says breathtaking and astonishing action masterpiece. Yes.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yes. What did you like about this movie?
There's actually a lot of things I really like about this film, but yeah, the action is probably the first thing because it's very good. It's really actiony throughout. It's a lot better than the first movie in that sense. I would say first film's a little slow.
Yeah,
it's a good film, but it's a lot slower than this.
I know. I watched the first one earlier this morning because I hadn't seen it since high school. I actually haven't seen this one since high school either. But yeah, the second one's definitely a lot better. I've never seen the third one though, and you said it's not very good.
Beyond Thunderdome.
Yeah,
it's not as good, but it still has its moments. I would say overall.
So the plot of this movie.
It's pretty simple. There's not a lot of dialogue or anything. It's one of those kinds of films, you know.
Yeah, he's trying to find some gasoline for his vehicle in the beginning. This is a post-apocalyptic world for those of you that have never seen the Mad Max movies. This is the second movie.
Yeah, the first one was kind of like when society was breaking down, and then this film, it's kind of now after the end. Like there was like a war and stuff. Essentially, like the world hit peak oil, which is what it was called. That was a major concern back in like the 60s and 70s, especially when like the first film came out. Mm-hmm. Basically, just the idea that there's a finite supply of oil and fossil fuels in the world, obviously, and we're going to run out sooner or later. And so there was predicted to be like sometime in the 70s back in the day, like sometime like the late 70s that this was going to happen.
Yeah, Google said that this movie takes place in the late 80s, like in our time, which is weird because it's definitely an alternate reality for sure.
Yeah.
But overall, the movie, I gave it a B. Like I give the movie a B.
Yeah.
The action's amazing. They are on point with that. The gore in this movie is absolutely awesome.
It's very violent.
Yeah, it broke. You were saying that, it had a lower budget compared to a lot of the movies at the time, but it made quadrupled its profit.
Yeah, it made a lot of money. It was a big hit, and and over here that was it was a major hit internationally.
Yes.
The first one kind of brought the Australian film scene and Mel Gibson to attention, but this movie was like the film that probably made Mel Gibson really famous.
Yeah, most definitely.
It's probably his breakthrough role.
Most definitely. And that's why we're here. We're here for Mel Gibson March Madness.
Exactly.
And what better to start off with than The Road Warrior?
Yeah.
Mel Gibson's a badass, though, on camera.
Yeah, in this film.
Maybe not so much off
Max
camera.
Rockatansky, let's say. That's his real name, or that's his name in the film.
But as far as being like a true Mel Gibson movie, this is about as Mel Gibson as it gets. And if you've seen any of his movies before, you definitely know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
We're going to be checking out The Patriot next. That is going to be our second movie. But for now, what we're going to talk about with this one is... I think we should get into gripes we have with the movie.
Gripes? All right.
Yeah, you want to go first?
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, like I said, the film it's light on plot. It's pretty light on characterization in a lot of ways. Most of the characters, they don't really even have names, even in the credits.
Yeah,
It's not listed.
yeah. There's a guy that flies a helicopter, and his name literally is the gyro pilot.
Yeah, that's about it. It's very minimalist in that sense. It could be a good or a bad thing, but yeah. And despite the fact that there's a lot of stuff in the world building that seems very interesting, they don't really go into a lot of that other than the intro. That's what you get, and then the film is mostly about Max's struggle to survive and maybe reclaim like a piece of himself.
Yeah, he's literally just trying to get some gasoline for his car, and then he gets roped into all of this.
Yeah,
and it goes from 0 to 100 like really fast in this movie.
Much like Max's car.
And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of nitrous oxide in this movie.
Yeah.
Another thing about this movie that I just thought was absolutely hilarious was the costume design.
Yeah.
So that's
very famous.
Not really a gripe, I guess, but it's definitely interesting.
Yeah, it's very famous. It's the kind of stuff that you'll be very familiar with if you've ever played a Fallout game.
Yeah.
Because the Raiders in those games were very heavily inspired by the bad guys in the Mad Max
and
films.
I could definitely see that for sure.
Yeah,
it's kind of a costume design where it's like anything goes.
Yeah, lots of leather, lots of studs. Again, very like late 70s.
Assless chaps.
Yeah, assless chaps. A lot of assless chaps in the film.
I mean,
that's what you're into.
I don't know if you guys can really see it here. I'm going to have to probably put an image of Lord Humongous right here.
Yeah.
But it's like the guy's wearing a Speedo, a harness, and like a Jason Voorhees. Oh, he's got boots on too.
Yeah, I have boots. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Zardoz look.
But yeah, the Zardoz look, exactly.
Except he's all leather, baby.
It's like, but the costume designer looked at everyone and said, you know what? Why not just put everyone in assless chaps?
Yeah.
If we're gonna do it, we might as well go all out. Almost every one of the bad guys had assless chaps.
Well, they're riding motorcycles. What else are you?
That's true. But the costume design was great. Max's jacket's awesome.
Yeah, it's again iconic. Again, if you've played Fallout, you know.
Yeah.
Like so many films and movies and games and stuff have taken so much like aesthetically from these films.
We need to talk about Mel Gibson's Australian accent.
Yeah.
Mel Gibson was born in New York or New Jersey, somewhere over there.
Yeah.
And he moved to Australia when he was like 12 or 13, and he lived there for a really long time until he got one of his big breaks with these movies. And he has an Australian accent in the movie, and it's not very good, I'll say.
He plays it up a lot. It's definitely something I always forget when I watch these films, because he doesn't do a lot of talking in this movie.
No.
He has maybe 50 lines of dialogue in the whole film.
Well, there really isn't a lot of dialogue in this movie. It's a lot of it's a lot of people doing stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like like we said, the plot is very bare bones. So
yeah,
you don't need a lot of dialogue.
There's a lot of like kind of like caveman stuff going on in this film too. Society has crumbled, so it's like I guess they're trying to just rebuild and do whatever they can.
Yeah, so there's people that are so we've reverted to a lot of primitive means. Again, this is something you get just for watching the film. You can see that we see these relics of the old world. That's a major part of the film because Max is trying to help a group of people that have this gasoline, or they're trying to basically they have this aspect in the modern world that they're essentially trying to take and rebuild society with.
Yeah, the movie was filmed in it came out in 1981, the same year as Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is cool because there's a couple of scenes in this movie that reminded me it was very like Indiana Jones-esque, which is really cool.
Yeah, a lot of the chase scenes and stuff.
It's not a long movie either. It was only like an hour and 35 minutes or something.
Yeah.
It wasn't very long.
This is back when you could make movies really short.
Yeah.
So because you make them short, you make them to the point.
Exactly.
So it's really nice to sit down and just watch, because then you can go and do something else.
Exactly. It reminds me of it reminds me a lot of the like the early Stallone movies too, because a lot of those were really short.
Yeah. You ever see was Death Race 2000?
Death Race 2000. Oh my God! Not in forever. We're gonna have to do that one. Oh my God! That's a name I haven't heard in forever.
A lot of cars, a lot of driving that one too.
Yeah. There supposedly too, we're gonna have to look into this a little bit more, but there were some actual injuries that happened in this movie too. You were mentioning too when we were getting to be near the end.
Yeah, I think there's that one where the guy's like where the car crashes and then the guy crashes into the motorcycle and then, like he flips over and crashes through it. Like I believe that was a real injury. Like I think he hurt his leg because he hits his leg on the hood of the car as he's flipping over. You can kind of see it. It's kind of hard to see. You might have to watch it slow motion.
Well, Mel Gibson's eye too is like messed up for like the end half of the movie.
Yeah, I have no idea if that was makeup or if that was makeup or if that was his eye just being
because it was in a lot of the movie though, so it was like maybe they didn't have a lot of time with filming. Maybe he actually did hurt himself, and they were just like, you know what, you're mangled. We need it for the movie. Now we don't have to worry about makeup.
I don't know. It was pretty grotesque though, and a lot of the injuries in this film are like that.
Yeah, it's overall though highly recommended for sure. As far as his movies go, this one's definitely highly recommended.
It's in general one of my favorite films. It's probably my favorite Mel Gibson movie, but in general, it's one of my favorite movies, I would say.
My favorite Mel Gibson movie is the one we're going to be looking at next. We're going to be looking at The Patriot.
Oh yeah.
So overall, I hope you guys liked what you saw. Definitely check the movie out. I don't know what streaming service you can find this on. The first one is on YouTube. It has ads. Yeah. But I don't think they're on HBO. I know they're not on Hulu. And then you can always rent it on Amazon for the $3.
Yeah. It was on Amazon Prime Video for a long time. I don't know if it still is.
It might be. I'm not sure as of the making of this video, but yeah, this is the second movie. So Road Warrior is the second one.
Yeah.
So you definitely got to watch Mad Max first and then watch Road Warrior. I guess, you don't really need to watch the third one.
You don't have to. There are some good bits.
And then I liked the remake, though, with Tom Hardy. The remake was okay.
It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, same. I saw these movies when I was in high school, and I was like, it's going to be hard to live up to these movies. Because they're so simple, but they're so elegant.
Yeah,
there's an art to these movies that really resonated with so many icons in pop culture. So very, very, very good movie. So we will see you next time on Mel Gibson March Madness for The Patriot. So we hope you guys liked what you saw. Have a good one.
See ya.